My name's Deep, and I'm the founder of Xyonix. My background is in machine learning. In fact, for about 20 plus years, I've been working somehow in this world where you take data typically gathered originally from humans, but sometimes not, and you try to build models that can learn, and from that learning they can do or achieve something. And I've been doing this since before it was called machine learning, and definitely since before the words artificial intelligence were reasonable terms for people to use without getting laughed out of the room. Back my background originally, I was in electrical engineering. I was working on acoustics and audio problems. Back in those days, a lot of adaptive filtering was a hot topic. So if you think about when people wear those Bose noise-canceling headphones. There's an algorithm in there that's adaptive. That was kind of, in some sense, a precursor to more modern machine learning approaches. In the kind of late 90s, I started a company with a couple folks here where we were analyzing music, and we were trying to see, hey, can we teach an algorithm to be able to recommend music to you? This was well before Pandora. This was back in the Napster heyday. And we wanted to see, can we understand, whether a song, if we've seen nothing about it, what's its beats per minute, what's the mood, all this kind of subjective attributes about the songs, and then ultimately, if you hold up a phone and you kind of listen to a song and it tells you what that audio is, a lot of that's using the algorithms that we built back in that original company, Cantometrics, which got bought by a company called Gracenote, and eventually got bought by Sony. And those algorithms are pretty widely used today, but it was it was kind of sort of spending a lot of time in the audio world. After that, I spent a number of years analyzing text, originally at a small cap public company called Insightful. We built kind of the world's very first large scale deep grammatical parsing engine. So you can think of it as sort of an army of 7th grade grammar students armed with a really large dictionary. The spooks tended to like our work because they could answer questions like who flew a helicopter in DC, within 10 miles, on a Thursday, and based just on news, right? Like just on unstructured text. Biopharm companies liked us because they could answer questions like, hey, which gene inhibits the expression of ERBB2 in the mouse model. After a number of years, we'd built this large-scale platform, and that let us kind of do this mining. And then we sold the company to Paul Allen, and we built a company called Every, which took that platform and then tried to build a large-scale semantic content recommendation engine. And at our peak, we were on the Washington Post, every article on the Post, and a handful of tier 1 media properties, offering this kind of rich kind of recommendation experience triggered off of the actual article content. After Every, I took a year off to travel around the world with my family. So I just would get together for drinks or coffee with friends, and they'd say, well, hey, while you're trying to figure out the meaning of life, why don't you solve this machine learning problem for me? And so they were kind of all over the map. Some video annotation extraction, some text parsing stuff, some in the health domain, some trying to figure out what the next big story was because Britney Spears dropped her umbrella somewhere. And that was a lot of fun. I had a hoot, and eventually joined another few kind of executive level functions at late stage kind of venture backed companies. And the most recent one was a company called Socrata, where I was had teams of, I think I had about 10 teams, and we were really trying to take all of this government data, public sector data, and make it very easily accessible to the world so that folks could take it and build kind of a new generation of civic applications on top of it. And then after Socrata, I thought hey, what do I really love doing? What's the common thread across the last 20 plus years? And it's just always been machine learning, artificial intelligence, adaptive algorithms, just things that learn from data. So.